Now that we have a better idea of what GenAI is, how to use it responsibly, and how it might affect learning, let's take a look at the most powerful tool in a student's toolbox: creating effective prompts. A prompt is the input or instruction you provide to a GenAI tool to generate a desired output. It may be a question, statement, or a set of instructions. The way a prompt is designed significantly influences the style, content, and quality of the response. As a GenAI user, the prompt is where you set boundaries to ensure academic integrity and stay within the guidelines your instructor has made in the syllabus or assignment instructions. These boundaries also help you avoid accidental misconduct or over-reliance on GenAI tools. When working with GenAI, imagine you have an assistant who has read nearly the entire internet, but has zero context about the specific task you have in mind. They're eager to help and incredibly fast, but they will only do exactly what you ask. A vague instruction like, "Tell me about Shakespeare," will result in a generic, unfocused biography. A well-crafted prompt like, "Explain the theme of ambition in Shakespeare's Macbeth, citing 3 examples from the play." Write it for a first-year college student without a background in literature gives your assistant the necessary context, scope, and target audience to deliver a more substantive, focused response. Regardless of the task, a well-designed prompt provides clarity and direction, allowing you to focus on the task at hand. By carefully specifying the author/context, audience, and purpose, you guide the GenAI tool toward the precise output you need and ensure it has the best chance of meeting your expectations and staying within the boundaries set by your instructor while maintaining academic integrity. Now let's look at the components of a prompt. To achieve the best results, it is helpful to be intentional about 3 key elements: author/context, audience, and purpose. We'll start with the component of author context. Who are you and what do you need? Identifying who you are as the author helps you set the right tone. Without context, GenAI tools default to generic responses that may be inappropriate in depth, tone, or relevance. Students can provide context by including information about their learning goals, academic level, audience, and desired output format. Are you a student trying to understand a tough topic? A teaching assistant preparing materials? Your role influences the type of help you seek and how you request it. Another option for specifying the author/context is to tell the GenAI tool a persona that you would like it to assume. For example, you can specify if you want the GenAI to respond as someone else: a tutor, a teacher, a researcher, a club president, etc. Now let's look at audience. Who will use or read the AI-generated content? This might be your classmates, your instructor, or even just you. Think about what the audience already knows and what kind of language will make sense to them. This helps GenAI tailor the response. More basic if the author is new to the topic, more detailed and technical if they're more advanced. Finally, let's look at purpose. What are you trying to accomplish with your prompt? Are you looking for a summary, a study guide, a brainstormed list of ideas, or help explaining something tricky? Your purpose should guide the format and tone of the output. Now let's look at the different ways AI can enhance, not replace, your learning. Your instructor probably doesn't stay up all night waiting to answer your questions, so using effective GenAI prompts can help you get individualized support 24/7. GenAI encourages active engagement with the subject matter while reducing the temptation to outsource cognitive work, supporting authentic effort and academic integrity. GenAI can be used at nearly every stage, at the beginning of an assignment, during planning and revision stages, or when you are unsure how GenAI can ethically support learning. For example, during planning, you could craft a prompt to help you meet the benchmarks. I have an assignment due on this date. Create a revision schedule that helps me cover the key topics. You can use GenAI to help you with time management. Please help me create a weekly study schedule. I have 4 classes: Econ, Stats, Astronomy, and Spanish. Econ is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 3. Stats is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 to 5. Astronomy is Tuesday, Thursday, 1 to 3. Spanish is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 10. I have other commitments Mondays, 7 to 9, and Saturdays, 11 to 3. I want to spend the most time on the Econ class. Present the schedule in table form. You can also use GenAI to check concept mastery. Here are a couple ideas. Here is my explanation of this topic. Check for any inaccuracies or misunderstandings. Or ask me 3 questions on this topic to check my understanding. You can also use GenAI as a self-assessment tool. I have written this assignment on this topic without rewriting any of my work. Please point out any gaps in content, unclear arguments, or missing evidence. Notice how in this example the prompt is clear about not rewriting the assignment. Instead, it will give you ideas about how you can evaluate your work and help you see the big picture of your argument and maintain authorship over your work. Using the boundary of without writing any of my work keeps GenAI as an assistant and not the creator of your assignment, and helps you to avoid over-reliance on the tool. Remember, enhance, not replace. Here are some additional controls to consider when crafting an effective prompt. Clarity, avoid vague language. Define the task explicitly. Specificity, include relevant details, topic, format, length, etc. Style, indicate tone, analytical, persuasive, casual, etc. Constraints, limit output format or word count. Background context, provide background information when necessary. But GenAI is not a one and done, which leads us to sequential prompting. Sequential prompting treats GenAI as a conversational tool rather than as a one-off answer generator. Students engage in an ongoing dialogue using follow-up questions to refine, challenge, or extend initial responses as their understanding develops. This iterative interaction deepens engagement, supports personalized learning pathways, and encourages critical thinking as students assess and build on GenAI outputs. It also strengthens metacognition as students reflect on their knowledge and how to fill any gaps. Students should leverage sequential prompting when exploring complex topics, developing arguments, or conducting early-stage research. For example, initial prompt. I am an undergraduate history student. Give me a summary of the key factors in the Russian Revolution to help me familiarize myself with the topic. Now that you have a basic understanding, you can drill down with follow-up prompts. Why was peace, land, and bread a successful slogan for the Bolsheviks? Or, what was the role of peasants in the revolution? Notice how the questions get more focused. You can also use sequential prompting to evaluate the responses you receive from GenAI. GenAI generates content based on probability rather than understanding, which means responses may include inaccuracies, bias, or fabricated references. Students need to learn to interrogate GenAI outputs through source checking, verification, and reflection. Critical GenAI engagement strengthens research skills, information literacy, and healthy skepticism, all essential to academic integrity and independent learning. This is why sequential prompting is an essential skill to develop. For example, list the sources used, including author, title, and year, or provide exact quotations with page numbers, or check the response for bias and identify missing perspectives. You'll still need to verify that the sources actually exist and are not hallucinations. Evaluation is an essential step in the process, so you shouldn't use GenAI content without checking the credibility. Let's look at some vague prompts and how to revise them. Vague. Write a summary of this article. Revised. I am a first-year college student with little knowledge of Freud. Summarize this article in 3 bullet points, focusing on key concepts and using language appropriate to someone with little knowledge of psychological terms. Notice how bringing in the author/context, audience, and purpose creates a prompt that will bring back a more focused response. Having this more defined response can also help you reread the article while looking for the key concepts. Remember, GenAI should enhance your learning, not replace it. Since prompts are so important, let's recap the essential components: author/context, audience, and purpose. Make sure that your prompts have clarity, specificity, style, constraints, and background context. As always, remember it is extremely important that you as a student read the syllabus carefully, as well as the instructions for each assignment to see to what extent, if any, you can use GenAI. In the next section, you will have the opportunity to test your knowledge about GenAI.